That's my side, right? Good evening and welcome to the February 10th meeting of the Wallingford Town Council. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Allenson. Here. Carmody.
Here.
Fishbein. Laffin.
Here.
Reynolds.
Here.
Rivard.
Here.
Versace. Here. Tata.
Here.
Testa.
Here. We have a quorum. Move on to item 3, the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve and accept consent agenda items 3A through 3F and 3H through 3L.
Second.
There's a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The motion passes. Item 4, items removed from the consent agenda. Item 3G was removed at the request of Councilor Tata, I believe. Councilor Tata, if you would like to say anything, or we just discuss it?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think we have a representative here, so thank you for coming. I appreciate it. So I pulled this off the consent agenda, not for a specific reason, but I just thought maybe it would be good to have a discussion about it. I know, so this is about the Plan of Conservation Development. There were 3 separate transfers I just want to ask a few questions about, but I know the POCD is kind of a big thing we've been talking about coming up, so I just want to make sure we're all on the same page as, in regards to the costs and what's going on with it. So basically, I guess I'll start with the money end of it. So this may be for the comptroller's office, but so it looks like the reason for this is because there were bills for a consultant for the POCD that should have been included in the budget, but weren't. So now we have to have these transfers to fix that. Is that correct?
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
So the first one, $9,857 from contingency. I know that in the current budget, we have a pretty slim contingency line because of our actions on the council, because we reduced that line from what the mayor's proposed to try to, trim down the budget. So I just was a little bit concerned that we're using the contingency line. So that was where the first one came from. And then the second one looks like it came from surplus, but it looks like it was leftover CRA funds. So I don't know if the comptroller's office or the mayor or anyone could just explain where the money is coming from or why those were the accounts that we chose.
So the amount from contingency is minimal to reflect the fact that contingency is slim and we are in the middle of winter, which is always a concern. So that's why that's a smaller amount. And then we did have leftover CRA money, and as of yet, haven't had a purpose for it, and we thought that this was a good use. The POCD is, there are things in government that we do daily, we do weekly, we do monthly, we do annually, and the POCD is once a decade. So in the interest of making sure that you do well what you don't do often, you hire professionals to help you through the process.
Okay, thank you. And that, the CRA funds, is there anything else left in that, or is that the remaining?
I'm not sure, and Mr. Naples is kind enough to sit in for us tonight because Mr. Senna is not available.
Okay. Maybe, if we could, I don't need the answer tonight, but maybe if we could just get the answer to that, I would appreciate it, just so we know if there's
Absolutely.
What's left there. Thank you. Okay, so that's the money part. So it's $116,000. I know, Mr. Mayor, you just said we hired a consultant, so we don't need to have a consultant, but I know you said because of the scope of this, we chose to have a consultant, but some municipalities do not have a consultant, correct?
That's true. I think we agreed that if the project is going to be successful, we should be as deliberate about it as possible, and professional support's important. So I believe, I thought the council approved a bid waiver for this consultant. Am I misremembering that?
Sounds,
It went out to RFP, correct?
Oh.
so the $116,000 that was spent so far, what was that spent on? Because we haven't really,
That's the total for the entirety of it, so.
okay.
Excuse me, if you don't mind, Mr. Begini, if you could just identify yourself.
Oh, yeah, Kevin
Yeah,
Virginia,
thank you for being
town
here.
planner. Thank you.
I apologize.
That was the total for the entirety of the plan, so it was sort of in the middle of the budget season and sort of in between two, so we weren't entirely sure of the cost at the beginning. The last one, I think, was only $65,000, I think, for the consultant, but because our minimal staffing, we definitely have a need for a consultant with all the updates to the demographics, all the statistical information, the surveying, the meeting with focus groups. There's a lot that goes into it, and like the mayor said, I think we want something that's going to be a great product, it'll be successful, help us get funding. The more we put into the POCD, the more funding that we have the potential to get.
Okay, sure. So the $116,000, that's items that they've already billed us for?
Correct. That's the entirety of the bid. That was the entire bid, winning bid.
Okay.
116.
But they're going to keep working with us through the
Correct.
process, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so it won't be more than the 116,000, but they will continue to work with us through the process?
Correct, until I believe July, it is, end of July.
Okay, because I know the focus groups are coming up and those things haven't happened yet, so this does cover that also?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. I thought this was to pay for things
no.
that had already happened, so that's why I was a little bit concerned at the amount of, okay. I think that those are the only questions I have. I appreciate it. Like I said, I know this is going to be kind of a big thing, since it's once every 10 years, so I'm just glad that we had a public discussion about it. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Well, we're going to have to approve these in 3 motions, I believe, since it's written out this way. So
Thank you.
I think you could do it in
We
one.
can just do it in one?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hold on, there's a question, Mr. Comerford? Let's wait for the motion. Go ahead, make the motion to approve. You can come on up.
I make a motion to approve
Item 3G.
item 3G, a transfer in the amount of $9,857 from contingency miscellaneous expense account to expense P&Z PS POCD consultant account, and appropriation of funds in the amount of $106,573 from surplus account to transfer out general fund account, and appropriation of funds in the amount of $106,573 to revenue transfer in account and to expense P&Z PS POCD consultant account.
Second. We have a second, and okay, now, Mr. Comerford.
Yes, forgive me, I didn't hear back there. There was a bid waiver, Mayor?
Turns out it was an RFP.
So there wasn't a bid waiver? Okay. I got a couple concerns. I think Kevin's a great guy, but all things aside, my opinion, by reading some of the charter, it appears that there might be charter violations involved. Did you get a chance, congratulations, Attorney Einhorn, to see if there was any charter violations that occurred with this?
No, we haven't had that opportunity.
So before you vote on it, you might consider that. I'm not an expert on law or anything else, but it may have taken place, my opinion.
What may have taken place?
A charter violation.
Which one?
Well, I can go get my charter.
I have a
book.
charter. I mean, if you're suggesting that.
I think on page 29 or 20 or 30, off of memory, I'd have to go back and get the book. It says that there's no officer, employee of the town can authorize any expenditure until that money was approved. And if so, then it calls for potentially their removal.
No money has been approved without our authorized, which is why these items are on the agenda.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that Councilor Tata asked if the job was started and it was billed, right? So somebody approved it without the money being in place, which is a charter violation, my opinion. So if you guys don't approve this, if you read the charter, my opinion, Kevin is on the deck to have to pay the $116,000 by the way the charter is written. Okay? If you guys don't approve it, he's got to pay. That's what the charter says, my opinion. That's why I'm saying before you guys vote on it, you might get some legal opinions because it might also implicate you guys because I didn't read it thoroughly enough and I'm not an attorney. But I also think by potentially state statute that planning and zoning statutes require the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve it, not the Planning and Zoning person. It's the commission that is the ones by statute that has to approve whoever the firm is, the whole process. Do you want me to go get the charter?
No, I'm hearing you, and I'm looking at the charter, and I'm trying to get a better grip of your questions and what they're really asking. And you keep saying approved, so I'm trying to think of what was actually approved and by whom. I know that we approved the use of an RFP to select this consultant. I also know that at the time, so that the contract was awarded through an RFP, correct?
It's not uncommon to award a contract and put the funding in place once we start the process.
Well, yeah, and I'm just, so the contract was awarded, and when they started working and started submitting some bills, we needed to pay the bills. And because in the last budget, my understanding is this amount of money, this $116,000+ was not put into the budget because when we were preparing the budget, you weren't quite sure what it might be. So that was my understanding why it wasn't in the budget already. So when the bills came in, the first motion is to transfer money into the account that will allow us to pay those initial invoices, the $98.57, and the rest of it is setting up the fund from the CRRA money, so the whole 116 is in that account for continued use. Am I on the right track so far, Mr. Mayor? That's how this happened. It wasn't put in last year's budget. But you can't obviously pay anybody until the transfers are properly authorized and approved by us. I'm trying to understand what you might be alleging, Mr. Comerford, and all I can think of is you're suggesting that by allowing the consultant to start working, that somebody violated the charter.
No, I believe what took place is, and this is only my opinion, I believe, my opinion, and thank you to Mr. Cena, I think Mr. Cena caught the screw up, probably called up purchasing. You guys can verify this, and says, hey, we can't pay this, there's no purchase order, there's nothing. So probably Cena pumped the brakes and said, wait a minute, whoa, can't do it. There's no purchase order, so now we have to address it. And as I said a minute ago, Councilor Tata asked if it was done. It'd be a different story if it wasn't done, but it's done and you owe them $116,000.
No, we do not. We owe somebody $98.57. The $116 total is for the total cost of this project as it takes place. We don't have bills for that kind of money right now.
I thought that what I heard, maybe my ears are wrong. I thought that Kevin said that it was 116. Is it not 116, Kevin? that we own?
Total for the entirety of the bid,
How much did they just bill you?
27,000, I believe.
Okay, so at a minimum, we owe them 27,000, but the RFP is 116. Okay, so at a minimum, it's 27.
Right.
That's out of the gate, which is the violation. Because I think that if you look at this, very simple. He doesn't have the authority to do this. The Planning and Zoning Commission does. He might be able to confer with that, right, Kevin? Isn't that the case?
I wasn't told. I told the chairman, and he was okay with it at the time, so.
I'm saying by state statute, and to the best of your knowledge, isn't that the case? That they are the ones that make the decision, not him? Nothing against him, but that's what took place. That's not how it's supposed to work.
I'm not sure about the, them approving a consultant, but approving the plan, yes.
Well, they have to approve the plan.
Yeah.
They have to approve the consultant, too. They get to pick the consultant, not the town planner. You can ask, I wish they came here. I was hoping that one of them did, because that's the case. And it also goes by state statute. I could probably go get my phone and tell you the state statute.
You're suggesting that the selection of the consultant was the violation? That's what you just said.
Yeah, it was, in my opinion, was supposed to be done by the Planning and Zoning Commission. You guys do whatever you want. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, there's some violations here.
Well, we want to do what's right. So, Mr. Mayor, do you recall who requested the RFP? Was it not Planning and Zoning Commission?
It came from the department. I don't recall
department.
whether it was the commission or the department. It came from the town planner's office, that I'm aware of.
From their office?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't aware of the, of the process at the time. We were just, we looked at what was done in the past, and that's how it was done prior, so.
But was there a discussion at a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to do this?
There was discussion with the chairman.
But I mean, in general, it never was discussed at a meeting? Or, I mean, you had to have talked about, we have to do the POCD.
Yeah, they were aware of it. It wasn't voted on at a meeting, but.
Did any of you guys get a copy of the RFP?
Well, not now. We had it in the past.
No, I mean this particular one. It was on the consent agenda, and then it got pulled. Did anybody get a copy of it and read it?
It's not on the consent agenda.
It
The
wasn't?
RFP's not on the consent agenda.
No, I'm just.
So, I mean, there's no call for it to be in the backup of this particular meeting, but
I'm not saying there was, but I've seen somebody pulled it. I'm only asking if somebody had the initiative themselves, because I did. When I saw it, I'm like, geez, 116 grand, let me get a copy of the RFP. So I got it. Didn't know if anybody else up there did.
and what did it say?
Well, one of the things is it's a two-part system. It's the A and B, where you get one technical score and then you get the B.
No, yeah, now you're talking about how it works and how it was awarded.
Right. So
You're not alleging that was the problem.
No, what I'm alleging is at some point, I would have thought that somebody would have said, somebody's got to be giving somebody a technical score unless there was a bid waiver, but we just heard that there was no bid waiver. So that means it has to go through the whole channel. So whoever did the technical score has to have an interview. So at some point, it should have been kicked back to the commission based upon how the town's supposed to work. The charter seems that you dust it off when you want to use it against somebody, but yet when someone like me brings it up, it's like, let's try to find every excuse why we're not going to do what it says.
That's not what's happening here. I have it open.
Okay, so,
I'm trying to work with you here.
okay, and I appreciate it. We're trying to make lemonades out of lemons. Those are your words. In a little sidebar here, Collier's is the one that is billing us, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Now, Collier is the same one that screwed up the schools. Well, they just discovered, I don't know what the number was, a couple $1 million that they find out after the horse left the barn. So I would be questioning that too, because there's history there. Now, part of their RFP, he says he had stated that they're working here until July. What happens after July?
The plan gets adopted.
Okay, so I don't know if any of you guys have been watching the planning and zoning meetings, but they just got a new change of the guard, and Chairman Fitzsimmons was adamant about how long it's going to take and wanted to tell everybody, hey, this is going to go a lot longer than you guys are thinking because we're going to do it. We want to do it right. And I commend Chairman Fitzsimmons because he's the one that's been spearheading, in my opinion, and I appreciate it, spearheading this and wants to do it right. He would have had possibly an interest or a say in this if the process was followed. In the meetings, I don't want to put words in his mouth, he states, look, this is not going to happen. It's not going to happen by June or July. So let's not kid anybody. So then if it goes past then, is there an hourly rate attached to it? Because I don't know what they're already billing you, but in that RFP, they're giving you how many hours they're supposed to be working. Total for the principal of the company, the subordinates, and so forth, well, the breakdown. So as it stands now, I would have thought that at least part of the bill would have did a breakdown of it to see where you're at, how much time the principal's got, and how many hours that they used so far, because that might be advantageous. Again, I appreciate the time. I just think that before you do it, you might look at it, because in my humble opinion, there's some charter violation. Nothing against Kevin. Maybe it was an error, but it's a $120,000 error. And if you guys didn't approve this now, by charter, he's on the hook to pay for it. So I went up there and I got the charter.
All right, hold on 1 minute, please. I mean, the question that keeps rising in my mind based on the discussions that's happening is the selection of the consultant and awarding of the bid, awarding of the RFP. There's been a suggestion that may not have been done strictly by the book the proper way. A lot of the other stuff is secondary. That's what's being alleged. And is there any reason we can't pull this for tonight and have the law department review how that was done to assuage the concerns and make sure that the charter was followed properly in awarding this bid and the way it's going to be funded?
Mr. Chairman, we can look into this. I'm not familiar with this matter, so I can want to speak on it now.
I wouldn't expect you to opine on it right now. And that's why I think you could look back on it and just review the process, and so we could give everyone the peace of mind that everything was done properly and above board. And then we can go ahead and approve it when we take it up again. Is there any reason that would cause a lot of difficulties other than these people not getting their checks for a little bit longer? Mr. Mayor?
I think they can wait 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's reasonable to have that looked into in light of the concerns that have been raised. Does anyone else disagree or want to argue with me on that one? You can speak. What? Of course. Councilor Allenson?
I just question whether more information is going to change the outcome. I don't think there was any knowing untoward behavior on the part of Mr. Pagini. So I would say there's a possibility that at best, Mr. Comerford has flagged a mistake that was made, and maybe a mistake that has been made before, but I don't think it's going to change the outcome if we vote now. Ultimately, am I going to ask him to pay $20-something thousand out of his pocket because he made a mistake? No. I don't think it's reasonable. So I am happy to defer, but at the same time, personally, you can say it was a mistake, and that's all it's going to be, and it's still not going to make the liability fall to him.
Oh, I agree with you. I don't think anything's going to be different either. But we could address, there does seem like, there are a couple of questions that we can have answered, and just to make sure everybody's comfortable with it. Anyone else? Yes, Councilor Versace.
It looks like the authority is actually that they have to prepare and adopt the plan and conservation development. They do not have to formally approve the consultant, at least according to the statute. So I think that the approving of the consultant is not statutory. It's just that they have to prepare and adopt it. I am not a lawyer, so I say that we can have the lawyers take a look and look at that, but just looking at the statute itself, it looks like it's just to prepare and adopt. It's not to pick the consultant.
I appreciate you guys doing this. I really do. And I also appreciate the fact that the town attorney is going to look into it. I think that once the town attorney reaches out to the Planning and Zoning Commission, you might get their side of the story, if there is a different one. And I'm not familiar with it, but I got it on good authority that potentially people there think of what I'm saying is the case. So I'm only bringing it up. I was hopeful that some of these people from Planning and Zoning would be here to potentially voice their concern. Maybe they don't have one. Maybe I'm wrong. At least if I'm wrong and I come back next 2 weeks from now, I'll be the first one to apologize. But when it's $120,000, and to Autumn Allison's thing, I didn't write the charter. I think you sat on the Charter Revision Commission, or no, I'm sorry, you didn't. The charter's the charter. I didn't write it. Do I want to see changes in it? Yeah, but if it says that that's what the person has to do.
You're talking about authorizing the expenditures now, and that's different. You've raised a number of different things here, and you've also made the suggestion, and not subtle, that members of the Planning and Zoning Commission feel that something was done wrong. And that you saying, I'll come back in 2 weeks and apologize, is like, asking the senator, oh, is it true you no longer beat your wife? So, let's pull back a little bit. You raised some concerns, and I'm willing to say, let's get the question answered, but let's not keep going with more and more. That is not correct.
Okay, but this is page 30 of the charter. If any officer or employee of the town shall knowingly incur any obligation or shall authorize or make any expenditure in violation of the provision of the charter or take part there, such action shall be cause for his removal. The way it works is you can't commit to any RFP or anything else until the money's authorized. And it already happened. The horse left the barn. That's why I said.
That's the question we're going to have answered.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
And thank you for pumping the brakes. I appreciate it.
Mr. Pagini, thank you very much, and I think
Thank
this
you.
is to everyone's well-being to have this answered.
Can I ask one other question? Could the mayor just override this? Could he just say, hey, you know what? It's an emergency thing and we have to pay it?
I don't see why I would.
I'm just asking, could you?
This doesn't fit the definition of an emergency authorization.
Because the same thing happened with the electric division.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'll just say it wasn't done maliciously. It wasn't
Of course
done
not.
without.
No, and I'm certainly not even thinking or implying that it was. If there was just a procedural error, that we should just know it and move on from there and get this thing wrapped up.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, please.
I'm going to withdraw my motion.
Okay. Motion's been withdrawn. We'll see it again in 2 weeks if we have, hopefully we'll have some information from the town, from the law department, and purchasing if necessary, and planning and zoning. We'll get these questions answered. Thank you, Mr. Bikini.
Thank you.
I know. Yep. All right, so before we move into public question and answer, I Joel Reinbold is here. We appointed him, well, the mayor appointed him to the Public Utilities Commission, reappointed him, we've approved it. Would you like to come up and get sworn in, sir? Over there. Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah.
Rand. Do solemnly swear to faithfully discharge according to law your duties as member of Public Utilities Commission of the Town of Wallingford to the best of your ability, so help you God.
And to anyone who feared that I would be strict with the 3-minute limit on public comment, I point you to the last 12. Now, I will move on to formally the public question and answer period. Are there any questions from the public? Any comments from the public? Yes, sir.
First of all, my name is Larry Kellogg. I live in the Yellsville section of town. I didn't hear a vote.
We pulled the item, we're not voting, we're gonna take it up.
I'm talking about the other ones, 3A through 3F.
No, we did. I called for a voice vote on approval of the consent agenda, excluding item 3G, and it passed.
All right, I believe you, not a problem.
All right.
The reason I scoffed a little bit earlier, and I know you purposely looked at me, is I got your email from August 31st, okay? And it talks about process, and it talks about the town charter. And I just want to ask, I'm not going to throw you under the bus. That was my intent tonight, and I'm not going to do that, okay? But I have to ask here, do you feel you're above the law?
Of course not.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Nobody's above the
So
law.
I just want to make sure you feel that way. Do you feel the state's above the law?
I don't, well, it depends. The state can
Okay.
make the law.
Well, not necessarily.
Well, yes,
We
necessarily.
have a federal government that makes law.
They
that
make
the
laws,
states
state
have
makes
to
law,
apply,
we make
right?
law.
Okay, we'll get there. And then the local falls under the state, correct?
It depends on what the issue is.
Okay, so I'm talking about an ordinance
Mm-hmm.
about snow removal.
Yes.
And under the charter, it talks about snow removal being done within 18 hours after the end of the storm.
Just to correct you, that's not in the charter, that's in an ordinance about
Okay,
snow
that's an
removal.
ordinance.
Yeah, all of our rules, operational rules, town laws.
Okay.
Those are the ordinances. The charter is about
Okay.
the structure of the government,
But
how it works.
basically, the charter, what you told me is, according to your own words, the town council is for, our responsibility involves passing ordinance as well as approving contracts entered into by the administration. There is no involving property acquisitions or sales or approving expenditures, passing ordinance in our two main roles. Those were your words. to
Right,
me.
that's our job.
Okay. So, the bridge on North Turnpike Road is snow impact. That's the only sidewalk that allows you to get to North Turnpike Road and Parker Farms Road intersection. When I talked to the town said it is not on their, and I brought this up the last time also, it's not on their approved list of clearing of sidewalks. So it belongs to the state. The state has not cleaned that particular area, even though the condos did, up to the state property. And the crosswalk that is lighted and I still feel is in violation is not cleared. So whose responsibility is that? I know you can't tell the departments what to do, according to your own words, all right? So who does? You're the town leaders. who is responsible for cleaning that section? Because I can tell you right now, there's not a hell of a lot of sidewalks in Yalesville. If you took the time, any of you, to walk over there, I think you'd realize that. And I can say right now that crossing the road is dangerous. We've already discovered that. A couple years ago, a lady's dog got killed, she got injured. Granted, she was crossing near Neal's, which is an approved area. But I've stood at that school crossing on North Turnpike Road for over 5 minutes watching cars go by, including a member of this board, because I saw the person. I won't mention their names, but you said you're not above the law. Does the law state you have to allow somebody to cross at a crosswalk? Does the law state that you have to stop and allow a person to cross at the crosswalk?
And
Mr. Mayor, you're an attorney.
Hold on. Are you asking me if,
Are you supposed to stop and allow the person to cross? Simple question.
are you asking me if I know that law? My understanding
I'm
is
asking if you stop for a person in a crosswalk to allow them to cross.
yeah, if they stepped into it or if the light's on. I think
Okay.
everybody does that.
Everybody?
I would assume.
58 cars today. That's how many cars it took before somebody stopped. 58 cars
Okay.
to allow me to cross. And you don't believe me? Talk to your town maintenance department.
I believe you. I'm not saying you're not telling the truth. Were you at a crosswalk with lights?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's a school crosswalk that says it's a crosswalk.
Well, that's unfortunate. If you would, you're
Okay.
standing there and you start to step out.
Let's go to the one on with lights.
They should
Let's
stop.
go to a crosswalk with lights. I can't get to it.
Okay. So that's, your issue today is the snow hasn't been cleared.
No, my issue today
Well, that's what you
is-
came in with.
My issue today is, I will be getting an update on this myself. These are your words, and I suspect others will. I hope this clarifies at least some of your thoughts. So I want to know what update you got.
We all were updated. We were updated on a monthly basis that the town engineering department and others were pursuing getting the crosswalk addressed with the state. My point to you was that as counselors, we have no authority to go to the state and authorize the state to do anything, so it was being handled by the appropriate administrative departments. That was what was happening, and you were hearing that every 2 weeks. So it was.
No, I was
Yeah,
not
you
hearing
were. You were told that every 2 weeks. When you brought it up, you were told that the engineers or the town or this one or that has been contacting the state to try to get them to do something about that light. And that was all we could ask for. And everybody involved has been frustrated. So that was what I told
You're
you.
frustrated.
That's what I was telling you. The state has frustrated us, yes. Now, where it stands today, I don't recall off the top of my head, but
Okay.
it's been going up. But you
This
came
was-
in here talking about
This
snow.
was October 31st. What's today?
What are you?
February 10th.
Yes.
Nothing has been done. It gets worse all the time. And what does this board do? What can you do? Obviously, from what you said in this email, nothing. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Comerford.
Bill Comerford, Broadview Drive. Chairman Testa, do you have any update with the cemetery situation? Center Street Cemetery building?
No one's asked me to get an update on anything.
Oh, so you're not aware what's going on down there?
Well, it depends on what you consider going on down there.
So, over a year ago, the cemetery was in the cemetery came in front of the planning and zoning and asked for AstroTurf to be laid down in front of the building. And they were told no. They still proceeded to do it. They dug up all the dirt, put down all the stone, put down the stone dust, proceeded. Kevin sent them pretty much a cease and desist. You're not in compliance, we told you not to do it. Didn't do anything. Then then Rob Bolshermitis, because it falls under Public Works, sent them a letter stating the same thing. So in the meantime, I had some dialogue with former chairman of Planning and Zoning, Seichter, who was kind of upset about the whole thing because he said, look, I told him not to do it, but Mr. Devaney is a personal friend of mine, so I'm on eggshells with it. So he handed it off to the administration. It's been over a year and a couple months. It's never been addressed. So, and I'm sure that the town council isn't aware of it. So you guys own the building, you lease it, they're in violation of their own terms of the lease. Planning and zoning virtually is telling them, don't do something. They still ignore it, and they still do what they want. So one of my questions is in a situation like that, or any of the buildings even like this, who has authority of the building? Is it the town council, or is it the administration?
I really
Maybe the
can't
town
answer.
attorney can answer that.
Lease with the town, the executive branch of the town would have authority.
Okay, because the lease is signed by the town council, but what I'm asking is, on all the buildings, who has oversight? Is it the town council, or is it the administration?
I'd have to look at the exact lease that you're talking about. We're talking about hypotheticals that I'm not aware of.
It's not a lease, I'm talking about all the buildings in general, all of them.
The town buildings you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, the town buildings are managed by the executive branch, which would include the Public Works Department that's in charge of oversight.
So the administration has oversight on all buildings then?
That's what I believe. I could double check it, but that's my understanding.
If you can, I'd appreciate it, because I thought it was the town council. I thought the town council last night, because the town council went in agreement with the cemetery. So I would have thought that that Seichter would have dumped it off on the town council, and you guys would have got resolved. So it's been over a year and a month. Nothing happened. There's a lot more violations that have taken place, but this is This is my tax money. Every year, I think somebody said that I bring up the funerary stuff. This is why I do, because it's my tax money, but it gets wasted and squandered. They're told not to do something. They still do it, and we're paying for it all. So, Mayor, do you have any update as far as, because it was left off with you, what the update is with them on that?
So, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, please, yes.
The situation is that there's these two patches in front of the cemetery building where the intention was to grow grass. It's been a decade of attempting to grow grass that doesn't grow there, for whatever variety of reasons, doesn't grow. My understanding is that the cemetery sought to pivot, sought to get a site plan modification to try something else. Planning and zoning didn't approve it. By the time that happened, that was late in the fall. I've asked the Cemetery Association to advise us as to the plan in light of what happened in front of, what happened in front of planning and zoning. And I don't have a response yet, and quite frankly, it's winter. Nothing's going to grow there for certain now, and I'm pretty certain it's covered with snow. But at some point, we'll revisit what it is, can be a compromise between the association maintaining, what might be 250 square feet of land, if that doesn't grow grass, to come up with some compromise that satisfies the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay. So it's being handled as it should be within the administration and within the commission that they needed to get permission from. So, all right, thank you.
So this was dumped off in the fall, so I understand about the snow thing, but I don't understand why there's not a plan. And again, a leasee is allowed to violate it. Okay.
You made your point, and we appreciate it, but we're well over time right now.
Okay, so on your last meeting that I didn't attend, you guys talked about the Doolittle Park basketball courts. Is that settled now? Because I think that there was I think you had stated, Chairman, that you guys were told what the situation was or something, What was told to you guys?
We're going to, well, we're going to be talking about that again soon, so we'll get back to you on that.
So that will come back up as old business?
Come up with something.
Okay, and then what about the community lake ones? Is that going to come up too?
I don't even, what do you mean? You're asking about everything now, and we're really going over time.
Well, I'm sorry, there's no one else here.
Well, I'm still trying to, I'm being
so-
very
Generous.
generous.
So I had supplied you guys with pictures, right? And apparently, those fell by the wayside. I supplied you pictures of failures down at Community Lake. And then former Chairman Marone said, well, maybe we can look into this or do something. And then all just like the cemetery, it falls by the wayside.
All right, I'm going to reveal, here, I'll reveal some plans that we have.
Pardon me?
Maybe to put your mind at ease. We will be talking about the parks in general very soon, and we will be having a discussion on the Doolittle Park, basketball court. So we'll be having some public discussions of all of these matters in the coming months. So stay tuned.
The problem is that the time ran out of the egg timer. You guys paid the bill, and the bond was released.
But I'm just telling you what we can do, and we'll see what we come up with. We'll get more information, and hopefully you'll get some of your questions answered.
So did any of this stuff go to the law department?
We really are finished with this for the evening.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I would like to bring something up. Counselor Fishbein was kind enough to forward an email to me that I know he received. I believe Counselor Tata might have received it as well. And if you give me a moment, I'm going to find it. He said with no degree of confidence. There it is. Okay. Mr. Michael Mendica, who lives, well, he wrote an email to Counselor Tata and Counselor Fishbein. And it's short, and it's worth saying because it says, "Good morning. I would have emailed the mayor or someone at the water department, but I couldn't find their email addresses. Last night, we had a water main break on Ridgeland Circle. The water department personnel responded immediately and under terrible frigid conditions worked on it for 4 to 5 hours to restore the service to the street. We're talking below 10-degree weather. Those guys should be recognized for their efforts at the next town meeting. They went above and beyond their call of duty considering the weather. God bless them. Please pass on my thanks to all those involved. Mike Mendica, 53 Ridgeland Circle." So I felt this was appropriate to share. So certainly, you can never say enough good things about the people that work for our utilities, and all that they're doing in this winter is certainly proving that point, whether it's public works, electric, or water sewer. So again, thank you to all the people that responded to that so quickly and so professionally, and it's nice to hear a resident who's happy with us. Let's see, what do we got next? Oh yeah, I did make a little mistake here on the agenda. I didn't realize I can't just put old business, new business on as a placeholder in case we want to bring something up to talk about, or in case I decide to ask about something, because it violates FOI. It needs to be, what we're going to talk about needs to be at least on the agenda. So I apologize for that. I thought it'd be a great placeholder, but apparently I can't do it like that. So there is no old new business to discuss this evening. And there is one more item, item number 7. Mr. Vice Chairman, if you'd like to make a motion.
I make a motion to approve a bid waiver for the installation of the National Fitness Campaign Fitness Court by an NFC-approved installer, as requested by the Health Department.
Second. The reason I did not put this on consent is I just thought because it's such a nice thing that it's nice to have it explained to the public again and of what exactly this is. And that's why. So if it was on the consent agenda, there would be no way for the health department to, to share this. And as I said, we've talked about it once, but let's talk about it again. If you just identify yourself and let us know what's going on.
Good evening. My name is Vanessa Batista, Director of Health.
Thank you.
Just to recap, the Fitness Core is a specialized system designed and supplied exclusively by the National Fitness Campaign. They require installation by trained approved installers to ensure proper assembly, safety, and warranty compliance. The concrete slab portion of the project will still go out to competitive bid in accordance with our standard procurement process. This request is limited strictly to the installation of the Fitness Core components, including the flooring, equipment assembly, and graphics. All equipment, tile, and installation materials were delivered as part of the original purchase. Purchasing has also confirmed that prevailing wage does not apply to this project based on the Connecticut thresholds. Approval of this waiver will allow us to move forward with an approved installer to ensure the Fitness Core is installed safely and in accordance with the program specifications. I also have to point out that there are other 2 fitness courts in Connecticut, one in Bridgeport and one in the town of Plainfield. And of those 2 fitness courts, they were also installed by the approved installers by NFC.
Okay. Thanks. So you need a bid waiver for us to hire that company to do that
Correct.
portion of it because it's their expertise and pretty much no one else is really doing it.
And we'll get the full warranty if we do.
And we'll get the full warranty. That's important to know. And so you ran this through the purchasing department, obviously. And this was their opinion that this was the way to go. Anything, does the administration have anything to say necessary?
I'll just emphasize that we want to make sure that this piece of equipment is assembled correctly and in such a way that we preserve the warranty. It's the responsible way to handle the installation.
Certainly is. Anyone on the council? Mr. Laffin?
Where's it going?
What was that?
Where's the court going?
At the Community Lake Park, Quinnipiac Trail.
That was it. Thanks.
Yes, Councilor Tata.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to reiterate, so the installation cost is also covered by the opioid fund settlement, correct?
Yes.
All right, I just wanted to clarify again. I know we've talked about it before, but this is not taxpayer money. This is all from the settlement from the opioid.
Correct.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Yeah, no, is that a no or you're waving?
I said in the last meeting, but I think this is a really good initiative, finding ways to do it using other people's money, but also connecting lifestyle choices and how we use our public spaces back to preventative mitigation of addiction, which is the whole point of this initiative. Spot on. Thanks for bringing it back, Mr. Chairperson.
The idea was to have a long-term prevention infrastructure in town.
Fantastic. Okay, it is a bid waiver. Why don't we have a roll call vote?
Allenson?
Yes.
Carmody?
Yes.
Laffin?
Yes.
Reynolds?
Yes.
Rivard?
Yes.
Rosacci?
Yes?
Tata?
Yes.
Testa?
Yes. And vote is unanimous. It passes, and thank you very much. And I mean, you're really hitting the ground running here. I really admire all the work you're doing, and it's great to have you keep doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I do it for the community. I'm a town resident as well.
Well, we're happy to have you.
Good evening.
Well, there's nothing else on the agenda, so with that, I will call this meeting adjourned.